Okay. All right. If someone will please give me the correct pronunciation of Mom's name, that will help me greatly.
Prattville?
Cradaville?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. All right, this time I'll call cause number 98330E in the interest of Leland Cradaville. We are here today set on our adversary hearing. We are conducting this through the Zoom program under a finding of good cause and consent of parties. And we are live streaming. Ms. Taylor is making our record. Okay, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Daniel Trout for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. We are present, ready, Your Honor.
Bailey Sapien on behalf of Mom Melissa Cradaville. My client is present and we're ready to proceed.
Your Honor, Cody Pirtle for the respondent father, Joseph Ray. I am present. He is currently incarcerated.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of Leland.
All right. Okay, Mr. Trout, how many witnesses we have today?
Your Honor, I don't think we're going to need any witnesses. I believe we have an agreement on this case. I received a signature from Mr. Pirtle on behalf of his client, Mr. Ray, and then I just spoke with Ms. Sapien, and it appears that they are in agreement to TMC through the department and for parents to work services.
Okay. Is Mr. Pirtle, is your client in TDCJ or is he just in county somewhere or?
Your Honor, I believe he's in TDCJ.
Okay. All right. All right, then. I assume we're going to say no child support or medical support at this time and
Correct.
Visits to be set up and all that.
Correct, Your Honor. I know that moms, and I don't know if Ms. Zavala wants to address this, but I believe moms drug screens did come back positive for meth. I would ask maybe a clean UA before we do any face-to-face at that time.
So the note that I had said that the UA on October 31st was clean. However, that mom did admit to continued use. So I am concerned about just making sure there's no exposure for the baby. But it does look, if that report is correct, was the October 31st UA clean?
Maria.
Yes, the UA was clean. It was the hair strand that was positive, yes. And she did also admit to using a couple days prior to the UA screen.
And is the 31st the last screen we have?
Yes.
I guess to address that, Judge, if we could ask Mom a few questions on that.
Sure. Ms. Sapien, are you good with that?
That's fine, Judge.
Okay, Ms. Cradaville, if you could unmute your device for us.
Hi.
Okay. Thank you. All right, if you'll raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear to tell the truth today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Mr. Trout, you can go ahead.
Ms. Cradaville, you during the course of the investigation, you had admitted to some drug use. Are you still currently using?
No, not
When was the last time that you did use?
before Leland was born.
Okay. Would you, if we ordered another UA drug screen on you just to make sure that UAs are clean before we do any face-to-face, you fine with that?
Yes, sir.
Judge, I'd ask that we order a UA today, or have it done by at least noon tomorrow. And if the UA is clean, then I think we'll be okay with that, but just to make sure.
Okay, Ms. Cradaville, the reasoning for that is that, with Leland being an infant and methamphetamine can be transferred skin to skin in close contact. So this is, nobody's singling you out. This is pretty typical when we've got an infant, that we just want to make sure that UAs are clean. So there's not been any recent current use that could transfer to the child, because it's obviously very dangerous to an infant.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that's the reason behind it, and so I will order you to go do that UA. If there's time for her to do it today, that's great. If not, by noon tomorrow is fine.
Yes, ma'am.
So they'll let you know, when it's good for you to go over there to do that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I appreciate your cooperation.
You're welcome.
All right. All right then. Mr. Pirtle, is this your agreement?
Yes, Your Honor, that's my agreement.
Okay. And Ms. Zavala, you think this is in the best interest of Leland?
Yes, I do believe it's in Leland's best interest.
All right. And so I will find that the evidence is sufficient to name the Department of Family and Protective Services as temporary managing conservator of the child due to a continuing and ongoing danger to the child to be returned home, and father is incarcerated. Obviously, the child cannot be returned there. I find that the department has used reasonable efforts to avoid the removal of the child, and of course, that parents have agreed that they will engage in services. So we're good with no child support or medical support. And as long as that UA comes back clean, we can go ahead and set up mom's face-to-face visits. When dad is released, then we can obviously address that. Okay, our next hearing is called a status hearing. And Ms. Cradaville will talk more about the services that the department's going to want you to engage in at that hearing. But between now and then, they're going to meet with you and develop a service plan for you. I strongly urge you to go to that meeting, participate in that, and then you can get started on those services right away. You don't have to wait till the next hearing. So
Okay.
Stay in close contact with your attorney. Ms. Sapien is going to be your best friend while this case is going on. So be sure, if you have a change of phone number or address or anything, let her know, let your caseworker know.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I appreciate y'all.
I was just gonna ask Ms. Watson, I can't remember who the caseworker on this one will be.
This will be Mickey Lane.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Cradaville, Mickey Lane will be your caseworker. I think you'll find she's extremely pleasant to work with, and she can be of great help to you. So I will see you back then on December 21st of 2023, and that'll be on a 9 o'clock docket. But
Yes, ma'am.
your attorney will make sure you have the Zoom link and everything for that hearing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Judge, can you?
In the interest of Leland Cradaville, we are here set for our status hearing. We are conducting this through Zoom, and we are live streaming, and Ms. Taylor's making our record. All right, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Melinda Powell for the department. The St. Francis Permanency Specialist today is Mavis Apoku Asante. Janice, you're muted.
Thanks, Melinda. Your Honor, I'm Janice Alexander Cross. I'm here on behalf of Joseph Ray. He is represented by Mr. Cody Pirtle. I am subbing in today for Cody Pirtle.
Okay, and I don't have Miss Sapien in the waiting room. I don't know whether y'all got a signature from her or.
I did not, Judge.
Okay. All right, then, Ms. Cradaville is present. And Ms. Zavala, did you announce?
No, Stacy Zavala for Leland.
Okay. All right, then, Ms. Apuka Asante, what do we have new?
Okay, so the service plan was signed by both Alisa and Joseph. Joseph is still in jail, so he's not started any services. Alisa decided to go to Serenity on the 6th and then return on that same day. So she's not started her services yet. She's not seen the baby yet because she's tested positive 3 times for meth, and she's not seen the baby. She's not had any visitation yet with the baby, but the baby is doing very well. Everything is fine with him.
Mavis, when did the father sign the service plan?
He signed on was Tuesday. Let me check Tuesday. On the 19th.
Okay, and has that service plan been filed?
Yes, I sent it out
Finally.
on the 19th. Yes.
All right, anything else then?
No, that's it.
Okay. All right, and Ms. Cradaville, do you have any questions or today, anything you want to talk about today?
No.
All right, are you gonna try to go back to drug treatment?
Yes.
What's your plan?
Rehab. I'm gonna go to rehab and complete it.
Where are you gonna go?
I'm gonna try Senate.
Okay. Well, the sooner you get started with that, the better.
Okay.
Okay. All right, and Ms. Cross?
Mr. Ray is still incarcerated, Your Honor. He disputes the domestic violence and plans on taking that case to trial. He does want to get out. He wants to work his services. He is definitely opposed to losing parental rights to Leland, and he is hopeful that he will be able to get out, work his services, and begin to take good care of his son.
Okay. All right, thank you for filling in for Mr. Pirtle. Appreciate it. Nice to
Happy
see
to do
you.
it.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. All right, and Ms. Zavala.
Quick question, Mavis, I understand that Leland's having some visits with with maternal grandma and uncle, is that right?
Maternal great grandmother.
Okay, so mom's grandmother. Okay.
No, dad's great grandmother. It's dad's grandmother.
So paternal, not maternal.
Paternal. Okay. Okay. Has there been a home study submitted for anybody?
No, Joseph gave me a name. I'm yet to call the lady and see if she would agree to it.
Okay, so neither this great grandma or an uncle that are visiting, they're at this time they can't do placement or are not seeking placement.
They are seeking placement, but Joseph lives at the backyard of the grandmother's house. So we thought that wouldn't be a good placement for the baby.
Okay, so far there's been no home study submitted.
No.
Okay, I have no further questions.
All right, do you have a recommendation, Ms. Zavala?
Yes, Your Honor, Leland's doing great in placement. Just turned 2 months old. All the medical is being taken care of. I've got no concerns about that placement and do recommend that continue.
Okay. All right, Ms. Cradaville, let me talk to you about your service plan real quickly. Those services are critically important to your success in this case. And beyond that, they're important because if you don't work your services, the child may not go home. And worst case scenario, it can mean termination of your parental rights. So you understand those things?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then I suggest you get to Senecor as soon as you can and get started.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll continue the department as temporary managing conservator. I'll continue placement and order the service plans as an order of the court. I find there's a continuing and ongoing danger to the child to return the child home today, and that the department is using reasonable efforts to reunify the family. Our next hearing will be April 23rd of 2024, and that'll be on a 9 o'clock docket.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you all. Everybody that's here on Cradaville, you all are free to go.
Thank you.
Okay,
Nice to
thank
see
you.
you.
You too. Merry Christmas.
All right, I don't know if anybody can text her, reach out to her to tell her she's got to connect to audio. There she goes. We finally got her. So she's done this before, I know, so. Okay.
Sorry, my internet's slow.
Okay, just leave your video off so we can at least hear you
Yes, ma'am.
if you're having internet problems. All right. I will call cause number 98330E in the interest of Leland Cradaville. We're here on an initial permanency hearing. We're conducting this through Zoom. We are live streaming and Ms. Taylor is making our record. All right, we'll take announcements.
Daniel Trout for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. Mavis Apuko Asante is my permanency specialist. We're present ready.
Bailey Sapien on behalf of Mom Melissa Cradaville. My client is present and we are ready.
Your Honor, Cody Portal for Joseph Ray. I am present. I believe he is in jail.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of Leland.
We've lost Mom. Well, she's coming back in. We'll watch for her. All right, then, what do we have new since the court report was filed?
Okay, since the court report was filed, Leland is doing very well. He's reaching all his milestones and all his needs are met. And then with Alicia is unwilling to start any of her services. She reported to me 2 weeks ago that she's not ready to be a parent, and she claims she has cancer, but then she didn't provide any paperwork to prove what she was saying. She had a doctor's appointment today at 2 o'clock, but she texted me this morning and said the appointment has been rescheduled to May. And she told me she came back from rehab in February. And in March, she tested positive for marijuana. And she keeps telling me that she uses marijuana for numbing her pain. So she's unable to stop using marijuana. But with the other drugs, she had stopped. But this month, I've not been able to get hold of her to do a UA test. And she's refusing to answer all my phone calls. Sometimes she'll answer, sometimes she'll just refuse to answer the phone calls. And she'll keep leaving the place that we place her to, and she'll go to other places where you can find her. You call her several times and then there'll be nothing. She wouldn't even answer the phone for you to even ask her what she's been doing. But basically, she has done nothing on her case plan, on the service plan. Every time you ask her, she will tell you, I'll do it next week, but nothing has been done. So we did a home study on the paternal side of the family, and Miss Lemon and then her son were the ones that we did a home study on. But Miss Lemon is up in age, and we were concerned about her age. So TP asked her to contact the doctor, for the doctor to write a doctor's note to see how she will be able to care for Leland whilst Roy is out working during the daytime. So basically, that is all that I have for Alicia. And then with Joseph, Joseph is still in jail. And we don't know when he's going to have his cases adjudicated for him to come home. But he's still there as at last week when I went there to visit with him.
So I'm sorry, so he is in Potter County Jail right now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And isn't that on a domestic violence charge against mother?
Yeah, he has 3 cases. Yeah. They were all assault cases on Alisa.
Has mother been able to obtain any kind of stable housing?
Yes. When she came back in February, we moved her to a family member's house and she was stable there, but she stayed for a week and then she would leave. And then you call her, she wouldn't answer the phone, and we'll try it and locate her and bring her back. And then she'll stay for a week and she'll leave again. Last 2 weeks, I went and visited her at the home and she left. I think I went there on Thursday, that Thursday afternoon. She left. She said she was going to visit with a friend and she never came back until like over the weekend. And she stayed for the weekend, and then the lady that she was staying with had to go somewhere, so she wanted her to drop her off with a friend, and she's never been back. So she's been missing and coming back anytime that she wants. She doesn't want to stay in the house that we put her in.
So the answer would be really that she's not maintaining stable housing.
Correct.
Okay, Ms. Sapien?
Thank you, Judge. I do join in Mavis's thoughts on Ms. Cradaville. I have had the opportunity to discuss with her the consequences, the possible consequences of not following the service plan and the importance of following the service plan, staying in communication, and being where you're supposed to be. This new medical issue has come up. I'm hoping she has some answers for that in the beginning of May. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Okay. Ms. Cradaville, can you unmute for me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I don't want to get into your medical stuff in any specificity while we're on YouTube, but it's important that you follow through with some documentation. You can give that either to your attorney or to
Yes.
Ms. Asante, but we kind of need to know what's going on with you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, you haven't really started any other service, so, you know, you're going to run out of time. That's the problem. You can't wait till the end of the case to try to get everything done.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you intend, if you want Leland back with you, you're going to have to get started on all this.
Yes, ma'am.
If you don't want Leland back with you, that's something you need to talk to Miss Sapien about,
Yes, ma'am.
to your lawyer, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay, Mr. Purtle, anything else to report?
No, Your Honor. I've told my client to complete whatever services he can do in jail.
All right. Ms. Zavala?
Your Honor, I am always glad when we've got active family members, and I believe that the uncle and the grandmother who had this home study out, I believe they're visiting, and I'm very glad for that. I do have some reservations. Leland is 5 months old. Just right now, the goal is reunification, but we're not seeing any progress in terms of parents. So So I'm looking at the very realistic possibility of a long-term placement with a 5-month-old and I don't know if I have the ages exactly right, but 60 something and either almost 80 or 80. I don't see that being a realistic long-term solution. I'm concerned about that. If it was something that was like, we need a placement for a year until parents get up. I guess at this point, I know there's some additional information that's needed from the uncle and the grandmother. I would just ask that Leland not be moved unless there's an agreement or a court order, once that information comes in.
Okay. I think that's reasonable, based on the concerns. So. All right, then I will continue, the department. Yes,
If I may, can you please order Alisa to go for another rehab? I think the first one she did in Dallas she did just 30 days and it did not help. She came back and still tested positive. So if we could get her to go for a longer time, so that at least by the time she comes back, her system is clean and she wouldn't be interested in using any more drugs anymore.
is all she's tested positive for since then is the marijuana?
Yes.
Your Honor, I don't know that rehab is what Ms. Cradaville is needing right now. And I'm not aware of any other narcotics besides the use of recreational marijuana.
Did she ever have a drug screen that was positive for
Meth?
I know there was some concern about meth, but when we
Yeah,
started.
she's used meth since she was 13 years. So I don't know right now because she's been, I've not seen her for the last 2 weeks and I ordered a drug screen for her, but I've not been able to locate her to send her to drug screen. So I don't know what she's been doing. And she's been going to places where people use drugs. So I'm suspecting.
Well, okay, since she's here today, then Ms. Cradaville, I'm going to order you to go drug screen today before 4 o'clock.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you can't get there, you need to let Ms. Apuka Asande know so she can arrange for transportation for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you get there?
Yeah, I can call someone.
Okay. It's really important you go do that. And I'm going to order you to do a hair and a UA.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm not going to make any decision about any kind of further drug treatment until we get that back.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll continue the department as temporary managing conservator and continue placement. Find that there would be a continuing danger to return the child home, and impossible to return the child to father at this time. I will order mom to hair and UA before 4 o'clock today. And I will find that she is not in compliance with her service plan with respect to father. You know, I suppose he's in compliance with what he could actually do in jail. So, okay, then I'll see everybody back on August 15th. On a 9 o'clock docket for our next review hearing. All right, everybody ready to go?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, at this time, then I will call cause number 98330E in the interest of Leland Cradaville. And I know I've just said that wrong. I always have to think that through. No, it is Cradaville, correct? Yeah, Cradaville. Okay.
I think I always say it wrong too, Your Honor. So I'll go with what you say.
Yeah, I think it's Cradaville. Okay. All right, we are here today set for our final in this matter. We are conducting this through Zoom under a finding of good cause and agreement of the parties. We are live streaming and Ms. Taylor is making our record today. All right, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Daniel Trout for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. We're present ready, Your Honor.
Bailey Sapien on behalf of respondent mother. I have not had any contact with my client since our last hearing. However, at that hearing, I know that she was made aware of this, but of the final hearing being set for today. Therefore, I am ready to proceed.
Judge Cody Pirtle for the respondent father, Joseph Ray. I'm ready. He's not present. I've not been able to locate him, and he has not stayed in contact with my office.
Stacy Zabala on behalf of Leland.
All right, thank you. Okay, then. Mr. Trout, who's your first witness today?
Maria Sedilla.
Okay, Ms. Seville, if you will, please raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you'll give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right. You
Thank
may
you.
proceed.
Maria, would you state your name for the record, please?
Maria Cedillo.
And Ms. Sedilla, how are you employed?
I'm employed with the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services as an investigator for
And how long have you been an investigator with the department?
2.5 years.
And are you familiar with the case involving the child Leland Craddockville?
Yes.
And how are you familiar with that case?
I was the investigator on the case.
How did the department become involved in the case with this child?
The department received a report that Miss Craddockville and Leland had tested positive for methamphetamines.
All right, Mr. Trout, if you'll hang on, I've got somebody logging in by phone. Let me see who this is. All right, I've just admitted someone to this proceeding that's on the telephone ending in 039. Can you unmute and tell me who you are, please?
Hi, this is Michaela Kirksey with St. Francis. My Zoom link was not working.
Okay, all right, Ms. Kirksey, I just needed to know who was on the phone, so thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Trout, you can continue. My apologies.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Sedilla, when you get a case, what are your first steps through investigations?
Through our first steps, we call the reporter and we staff with our supervisor.
Do you go out and try to meet with parents?
Yes.
Okay. Did you do that in this case? Did you go out to meet with mom and dad?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And who were you notified, or who did you find was mother?
Alyssa Craddockville.
Okay. And did you find out who the father was, or possible father?
Yes.
Was? And what was his name?
Joseph Ray.
Okay. Were you able to meet with mom?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And where did you meet with her first?
I initially met with her, I believe, at the hospital.
Okay. Did you have a conversation with mom about the allegations and why the department was involved?
Yes, I did.
As to possible drug use, what was mom's response to that?
Mother admitted to using methamphetamines.
Okay. What did she say as far as her use? Did she tell you what she'd been using, how long she'd been using, or when her last use was?
She told me that she had first used methamphetamines probably about around the age of 15, 16 years old. And then off and on throughout her life since then. And she also initially told me that she didn't remember whether she used or not throughout her pregnancy. And then later on, when I talked to her, she admitted to using throughout her pregnancy.
Okay. Did outside of stating it, did mom ever sign an acknowledgement of use form as to this?
Yes, she did.
Okay. And was that filed with the court?
Yes, it was.
Do you have the exhibits I sent out?
Yes.
Can you look at exhibit number 4?
Exhibit number 4. Yes, I have it up.
And can you tell me what that is?
Exhibit number 4 is acknowledgement of substance abuse use form.
Okay. And is that your signature on the front?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And you filed this with the court on October 31st of 2023?
Yes.
Okay. Is this an accurate copy of what Ms. Cradaville signed?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And it's don't see any changes to the form?
Correct.
Your Honor, I'd ask to admit exhibit number 4 is the file marked copy of the acknowledgement of use form that was filed in this case and that was just testified to.
Any objection?
No objection.
No objection.
All right, petitioner's exhibit 4 will be admitted.
Your Honor. And Ms. Sadea, on this exhibit number 4, Mom marked that she had used methamphetamine. Is that correct?
Correct.
And she stated on there that it was while the baby was in the hospital was her last use. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then, but later, Mom told you that she had used on and off throughout her pregnancy.
Yes.
Were you able to meet with Dad in this case?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And where was Dad at the time?
Potter County Jail.
Okay. Do you know what he was in there for?
He was arrested for domestic violence.
Your Honor, I'd ask to admit exhibits number 5, 6, 7, and 8. Exhibit number 5 is the indictments on the domestic violence charges for which Mr. Ray was in jail for at the time. It's a certified copy of those indictments.
All right, any objection to 5?
No objection.
No objection.
That's right, those came in a separate email. Okay. All right, then petitioner's exhibit 5 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Adele, do you know on these domestic violence charges, are you looking at exhibit number 5?
Exhibit number 5. Yes, I am.
And when you had conversations with Dad, was the charges, did it have Mom listed as the victim in those cases?
Are you asking, can you please restate that question?
During your conversations with Mr. Ray, did he state who the alleged victim was in those cases?
No.
Okay. Did Mom discuss any domestic violence with you?
Yes.
Okay. And domestic violence between her and Dad?
Yes.
Okay. And Your Honor, as far as the other exhibits, 6, 7, and 8 are certified copies of the judgments from this indictment. I'd ask to admit those.
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
All right, petitioner's exhibits 6, 7, and 8 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Adele, during your time on the case and working with Mom, did y'all try to prevent the removal? Let me back up and ask that differently. What steps did y'all go through to try to prevent the removal?
We try to put a safety plan in place where she would be supervised around her child.
Okay. And did you have friends, family members? Who were you looking at for that?
We looked at Camilla Becker.
Okay. And is that a name that Mom had given you?
Yes.
Okay. And was that able to work out?
No, it wasn't.
And why was that?
I guess some arguments had taken place between Camilla and Alyssa, and Camilla said she wasn't going to be able to do it.
Did mom give you any other names to try to prevent the removal, or any other supervising party?
No.
Where was mom living at the time?
At the time she was homeless. She had told me she was living in her vehicle. But when we tried to do the safety plan, she had told me that she was going to be living with Miss Camilla.
Do you know, after Camilla said she wasn't able to do it, did mom continue living there, or do you know where mom went after that?
From my understanding, she had continued to live in her car.
Okay. When you spoke to dad, was he able to give you any family members to try to place child with?
He mentioned Miss Carrie Lehman.
Okay, and who was that?
His, I think it's his grandmother.
Was there any possibility of placing the child with there? Did y'all, during your time on the case, was a home study done?
No.
Okay. But dad was behind bars. Dad was incarcerated at the time and not able to take the child.
Correct.
Mom had admitted to methamphetamine use and was, to your knowledge, living out of her car.
Mm-hmm.
And not a appropriate place for the child.
Correct.
Due to this, did you determine it was best interest of the child to remove or to request removal?
Yes.
And once the removal was approved, where was the child placed?
In foster care.
At the time that you went off the case, how was the child doing?
He was doing well.
Did he have any, to your knowledge, were there any issues from possible withdrawals or anything with the child?
No.
But due to the facts leading up to this, it was in the best interest of the child to remove.
Correct.
Okay. I'll pass the witness at this time, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Sapien?
No questions, Judge.
All right, Mr. Pirtle?
No questions.
All right, and Ms. Zavala?
No questions.
All right, then, Mr. Trout, anything further of this witness?
Nothing further from this witness, Your Honor.
All right, any objection to Ms. Cedillo being released at this time, counsel?
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
All right, then, Ms. Cedillo, thank you for logging in. You're free to go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maria.
All right, you can call your next witness.
Call Jennifer Campos, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Campos, if you will, please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you'll give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you may proceed.
Ms. Campos, would you state your name for the record, please?
Jennifer Campos.
And Ms. Campos, how are you employed?
I'm a permanency specialist with St. Francis Ministries.
And how long have you been in that role?
For a little over 2 years.
Okay. And are you familiar with the case we're discussing today involving the child Leland Craddockville?
Yes, sir.
And how are you familiar with that case?
I'm the permanency specialist on the case.
Okay. And when the case is turned over from the department to St. Francis as the casework side, how do y'all start your case? What do you do?
We meet with the parents and we create a family plan of service to help them get started on services.
Okay. And was that done in this case?
Yes, sir.
Tell me, what are family plans of service?
Family plans of family plans of service are to help parents mitigate the reason of removal and, to help them better understand maybe parenting or drug use or something like that.
Okay. Are the family plans put into place to work toward reunification with the child?
Yes, sir.
For children involved?
Yes, sir.
And you said, was that done in this case?
The family plan service was created. Yes, sir.
Okay. Were they filed with the court?
Yes, sir.
And are the family plans made in order of the court?
Yes, sir.
And was that done in this case?
Yes, sir.
You have the exhibits I sent out?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Exhibits number 1 and 2. Can you pull those up?
Yes. I put my hand.
Ms. Cabos, can you look at exhibit number 1 for me?
Yes, sir.
And can you tell me what exhibit number 1 is?
Assigned family plan of service.
Okay. And was that filed with the court?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And can you tell me what date that was filed with the court?
The date that it was filed was on November 29th of 2023
And this is a family plan of service for who?
for Alyssa Cradaville and Joseph Ray.
Okay. But exhibit number 1 is just for mom?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good. And this was signed by mom?
Sure. Yes, sir.
Okay. And were these service plans made in order of the court?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I'd ask to admit exhibit number 1 is the family plan, file marked copy of the family plan of service that was just testified to.
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
All right, petitioner's exhibit 1 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Campos, can you look at exhibit number 2
Yes, sir.
and tell me what exhibit number 2 is?
Is assigned family plan of service for Joseph Ray.
Okay. And was that submitted and filed with the court?
Yes, sir.
And when was that filed with the court?
This one was filed with the court on December 20th of 2023.
Okay. And were this family plan of service also made in order of the court?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did Dad sign it?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I'd ask to admit exhibit number 2, which is the family plan of service for Dad that was just testified to.
No objection.
No objection.
Okay, petitioner's exhibit 2 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Campos, we'll start with mom. How has your contact with mom been?
In the beginning of the case, when I took over the case, she was in contact with me probably every week. It was kind of like a hit or miss due to her phone number being a text now number and it only working on Wi-Fi. I was able to meet up with her a couple of times. But after that, it went silent.
When was your last face-to-face with mom?
My last face-to-face with mom was August. I believe in August, yes.
Okay. Would you just say approximately August?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And during your time, has mom completed any services?
No, sir.
Okay. We'll look at her, go through her family plan real quick. Did
And
mom,
I just wanted to clarify August 2020.
24.
24. Okay.
Yes, sir. I mean, ma'am, sorry.
Yeah,
Yes.
no. Okay.
did mom drug screen for you?
Not since I've had the case, no, sir.
Okay. Was she required through her family plan to drug screen for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. She did do some early on, but in the last few months, she has not screened for you?
Correct.
Okay. And did you try to send her for drug screens?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If parents are sent for drug screens and don't show up, are those considered positives?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know where mom is living?
I do not know, sir.
Okay. Has mom notified you of changes in her circumstance, phone numbers, addresses, that sort of stuff?
Phone numbers, yes. Addresses, no.
Okay. At this time, do you know if mom is living somewhere or is homeless?
From my understanding, she's still homeless.
Was mom asked to do parenting class?
Yes, sir.
Did she complete that?
No, sir.
Has mom had visits with the child?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you know when the last visits with the child was?
I believe in the hospital, at removal.
Was mom needed to provide clean drug screens in order to get visits?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did she ever provide any clean drug screens?
No, sir. Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. The drug screens that she did take, were they concerning?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then she hasn't screened in the last few months at least.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was mom asked to do an OSAR?
Yes, sir.
Did she complete that?
No, sir.
Was she asked to do any type of AA, NA, any type of program like that?
Yes, sir.
Did she do any of that?
No, sir.
To your knowledge, has she abstained from or has she kept and maintained a drug-free lifestyle?
No, sir.
Was that something she was ordered to do?
Yes, sir.
Did she complete rational behavior?
No, sir.
Was she required to do that?
Yes, sir.
Did she complete individual counseling?
No, sir.
Was that something that was in her family plan?
Yes, sir.
Was she, through the family plan, ordered to do a psychosocial?
Yes, sir.
Did she complete that?
No, sir.
Did she complete her domestic violence support group?
No, sir.
Did she ever start it?
No, sir.
To your knowledge, did mom ever start any of her services?
No, sir.
Do you know if mom tried any type of rehab or any efforts to try to get clean?
To my knowledge, in the very beginning of the case, she did go to rehab for 30 days, but I'm not for sure of how true that is. I never received any documentation or anything stating the fact that she went.
Okay, so you don't have any certificate of completion or graduation certificate from a rehab?
No, sir.
Okay. And you said mom has not visited with the child, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Do you believe at this time mom has the means and capability to provide support for a child?
No, sir, I don't.
Do you believe she has the capability of providing necessary means of living for the child?
No, sir, I don't.
The ability to protect the child at this time?
No, sir, I don't.
Did the department try to work with mom, attempt to work with mom by family plans of service and offering services to get mom to that stage?
Yes, sir, we did.
And did mom take advantage of that?
No, sir, she didn't.
Has mom, and you said you believe that the last time she had any visit with the child was at the hospital?
I believe, yes, sir.
So it's been almost a year, all right?
Yes, sir.
Are you asking the court today to terminate the parental rights of Alyssa Cradaville as to the child, Leland Cradaville?
Yes, sir.
And is that based on your testimony today?
Yes, sir.
And you believe that is in the best interest of the child?
Yes, sir, I do.
Real quick, how is the child doing right now?
Leland is doing amazing. He's almost walking. He just had his first birthday. He's growing, doing all the things. He's doing amazing. Very sorry.
Go ahead.
Very bonded with foster parents.
Okay. Are foster parents adoption motivated?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are they licensed? Are they working on licensing?
I believe they're licensed. Yes, I believe they're licensed. Yes.
Okay. And do you believe that it would be in the best interest of the child, based on your testimony and your knowledge of the case, to terminate the parental rights of mom as to the child, and for him to stay where he is?
Yes, sir, I do.
Now as to dad, when's your last contact with dad?
In September of this year.
And what was that contact?
He contacted me, wanted me to stop what I was doing to go take him and Alyssa to rehab. After I explained to him that I could not stop what I was doing, I was very busy. I did give them a time and day to call me and let me know that they were ready and where to pick them up. I never received a phone call. I waited and there was nothing made, no attempt made at all.
Okay. Just to clarify, did y'all set a time and date for you to meet them and they didn't show up, or were they supposed to call you and tell you where to meet?
I gave them a time and date to call me and then tell me where to pick them up at.
Okay. And is that due to you not knowing where they're living?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you didn't have an address or a home to go meet them at. You needed them to tell you where to get them.
Yes, sir. Correct.
Okay. Have you heard from them since?
No, sir.
Have you tried to reach out to them?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know how many times since then, how many times you've tried to contact mom and dad?
I tried to contact Alyssa a couple of times in September and one time this month.
What about dad?
Since there is no phone number for dad, he was using Alyssa's number. That was the only way I had to contact them.
Okay. To your knowledge, at that time when dad called you, is it your belief was he and mom together?
Yes, sir. They were.
Okay. All right. And you don't have an address for either one of them?
No, sir, I don't.
Okay. As far as family plans of service for dad, let's see. Do you know whether dad has his own transportation?
No, he doesn't.
Did dad complete parenting classes?
No, sir.
Did he start them?
No, sir.
Is he required to do Padre program?
Yes, sir.
Did he start that?
No, sir.
Has he completed that?
No, sir.
Was he required to do an OSAR?
Yes, sir.
Did he complete an OSAR?
No, sir.
Was he required AA, NA, any type of program like that?
Yes, sir.
Did he complete those?
No, sir.
Has dad ever drug screened for you?
No, sir.
Okay. Have you tried to send dad for drug screens?
Yes, sir.
Was dad required to complete rational behavior?
Yes, sir.
Did he complete that service?
No, sir.
Was he asked or required to do a psychosocial?
Yes, sir.
And did he complete that?
No, sir.
Did he ever start it?
No, sir.
Individual counseling, did he ever start that?
No, sir.
Did he ever complete it?
No, sir.
Was he asked or required to do an assessment with Texas Panhandle Centers?
Yes, sir.
Did he ever initiate that or complete that?
No, sir.
And was he required to do the BIP program?
Yes, sir.
Batters Intervention and Prevention program?
Yes, sir.
Did he initiate that?
No, sir.
Did he ever complete it?
No, sir.
Okay. When was dad's last visit, to your knowledge?
Dad has not ever seen the child.
Okay. Did the department provide him the ability to work service plans and to work toward a reunification with the child?
Yes, sir.
Did dad take advantage of that?
No, sir.
Did do you believe that, or to your knowledge, does he have the capability to provide the necessities for a child?
No, sir.
To provide support and a place to live for the child?
No, sir.
Is this due to you not knowing where dad is living?
Yes, sir, correct.
Is it also your knowledge or your belief at this time through the case that dad is also homeless?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you talked to them in September, I know they didn't give you an address, but did they tell you they were living anywhere or were couch to couch or were living on the streets? Did they notify you of any of that?
So when I did meet with them that time, they were staying at the Wagon Wheel Motel. Um, they said that their time was up almost and that they would be moving across the street to the Cowboy Motel. But it was never that information was never given to me. I do believe that that was around the time Mr. Ray, was picked up on a possession charge shortly after that.
Okay. Now dad was pled in as alleged.
Yes, sir.
Okay. He and mom were not married.
No, sir.
Dad was personally served
Yes, sir.
and requested a court-appointed attorney. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is this a certificate? Was paternity registry searches run?
Yes, sir.
Was that filed with the court?
Yes, sir.
And did the paternity registry come back that no one had claimed intent to claim paternity of the child?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you look at exhibit number 3?
Yes, sir.
And is that the file marked copy of the certificate of paternity registry search
Yes, sir.
from this case?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I'd ask to admit exhibit number 3.
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
You're muted, Your Honor.
Sorry. Okay, petitioner's exhibit 3 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Gumbos, is the department asking today to also terminate the parental rights or any rights that Joseph Ray has to the child Leland Creditsville, based one upon failure to register with paternity registry search?
Yes, sir.
And in the alternative, if the court decides to adjudicate dad based upon his failure to work services and constructive abandonment?
Yes, sir.
And is that based all on the testimony that you've given today?
Yes, sir.
Also in your testimony, is it your belief that that is in the best interest of the child?
Yes, sir, I do.
Are you also asking that the court terminate both parents' parental rights, but also to appoint the department as permanent managing conservator of the child?
Yes, sir.
And you believe that's in the best interest of the child?
Yes, sir, I do.
I'll pass the witness at this time, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Sapien.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Campos, were you able to speak to Ms. Cradaville about having an attorney?
I was not in the beginning. I was not on this case in the beginning. I did mention to her to contact her attorney for any legal advice or anything like that when I met with her.
Okay, and were you able to give her my phone number?
Yes, I did give her your phone number.
Okay. I don't have any further questions, Judge.
All right, Mr. Pearl.
Ms. Campos, how much time was Mr. Ray in Potter County Jail? Do you know?
Roughly 8 months, possibly. I'm not for sure. I'm sorry.
Okay. And did you go visit him out at the jail?
I did, yes, sir.
And how many times?
I believe twice when I received the case.
And did he inform you that he was trying to do parenting classes or whatever classes he could do out at the jail?
Yes, he did.
Okay. Do you know if he completed any of those classes?
He did not complete any parenting classes to my knowledge. I did receive some certificates for anger management. And I can't remember the other ones that were on there as well.
Okay, I pass the witness.
All right, Ms. Zavala.
Ms. Campos, there was some testimony from Ms. Cedillo about a paternal, I believe, great-grandmother as being suggested as a possible placement. Did you hear that?
Yes, I don't know about a possible placement, but yes, ma'am. Yes.
At the beginning of the case, there were some names, I think a great-grandmother and a paternal great-uncle that were provided from dad's side to be investigated.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And St. Francis started that process and started working with those family members. And those family members received some visitation.
Yes, ma'am.
And in fact, are they still getting visits now?
Yes, ma'am, they still are.
And is it correct that those family members withdrew themselves from consideration because they felt like the placement where Leland is now was the most appropriate place for them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I pass the witness.
Okay, all right, Mr. Trout, anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, does the department rest?
Department rest.
Okay. All right, Ms. Sapien, anything to present today?
Nothing to present, Your Honor. I'll rest.
All right, and Mr. Pirtle?
Having no witnesses, Judge, rest.
All right, and Ms. Zavala, anything to present today?
No witnesses, Your Honor. I rest.
All right, Ms. Zavala, do you have a recommendation to make to the court?
Yes, Your Honor. I do believe it's in Leland's best interest for the parental rights to be terminated for both mother and father. He is doing extremely well. He's still connected with family, and he's in a long-term placement. And I believe terminating parental rights and allowing him to be adopted by that placement is in his best interest.
All right, thank you. All right. And at this time, I do find by clear and convincing evidence that it is in the best interest of the child, Leland Cradaville, to terminate the parental rights between the child and his mother, Alyssa Cradaville, based on Texas Family Code sections 161.001B1, the E, N, and O grounds, and the best interest of the child under Texas Family Code section 161.001, subsection B2. I will adjudicate Joseph Ray as the father of Leland Cradaville and establish the parent-child relationship between the two of them. I find by clear and convincing evidence it is in the best interest of the child, Leland Cradaville, to terminate the parental rights between the child and his father based on Texas Family Code 161.001B1, the N and the O grounds, and the best interest of the child under 161.001B2, and also his failure to register with the paternity registry under 161.002B1 and 3, the 1 and 3 grounds. At this time, I will name the department as the permanent managing conservator of the child. I'll dismiss all court-appointed attorneys with the exception of Ms. Zavala after the de novo and appellate timeframes expire. Counsel, as always, just be mindful that your de novo timeframe does begin to run since I've rendered in open court. And also, if you're instructed to file a notice of appeal, please do not do that until a final order has been signed and adopted by the referring court. All right, I appreciate everybody's time this afternoon. Anybody have any questions?
No questions, John.
No.
Okay, thank you all so much, and I hope everybody has a good rest of your afternoon.
Thank you, Judge.